Greetings once again, hunters. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with Hunter x Hunter as we continue on with the origin story of the Phantom Troop. Living in Meteor City, the kids of the Junk Heap did what they could in order to pass the time and find entertainment, with Chrollo even going so far as to dub an entire show with a couple of friends and present it to the kids who loved it. And even when the show's dubbing tape got destroyed, the kids came out and acted out for real, causing even Chrollo's enemies, Nobunaga, well, not Nobunaga, Finks, Phaeton, Uvogin, and to a certain degree Machi. She's kind of indifferent. And that was the first begrudging respect that Uvogin gave to Chrollo, as they decided to become a troupe of some sort, wanting to perform once they finished with the episodes that they had available. But as they were ready for a new performance, Sarasa went off in order to do a job that she had, but she had a new location where she would be able to find more episodes of the show that the kids have enjoyed so much. This is despite the fact that there are those out there who don't see the people of Meteor City as human, and thus they are kidnapped regularly. You can tell where this is going, but who knows, it might surprise us, right? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, Hunter x Hunter Chapter 397, Founding, Part 3. An announcement comes over the church's loudspeaker where the kids gather, saying, "We're going to have another special screening of the Power Cleaners this week. Please join us, everyone." And we see the kids all gathered in a back room. I think Shalnark says, "Are those three not here yet?" Uvogin says, "Not showing up 15 minutes early? Unacceptable." He's so into it. Sheila says, "Franklin and Nobunaga are always barely late, but Shirasa?" Chrollo says, "Yeah." And as he looks over the gathered kids, a worried expression goes over the young kid's face as he tells the others, "I'm going to go look for her." Sheila says, "Wait, I'll go with you. You don't know her wet nurses." And as they go about town, the people say, "I haven't seen her since yesterday. We thought she was with you." And as time passes, more and more of the kids go searching, such as Finks and Phaeton. Back at the auditorium, an announcement comes over to the kids saying, "Thank you for your patience. The start of the show has been delayed." As Finks rejoins the group, he says she never returned to the hamlet after she left. She must have wandered off alone. And as the kids discuss things amongst themselves, Uvogin says, "Considering the conversation we were having, she must have gone to look for more tape." Takenota questions, "What should we do? Chrollo?" And they all look towards Chrollo for answers. Back in the auditorium, a kid shouts, "Hey, there he is, the Red Cleaner!" And they all cheer as Chrollo comes onto the stage, holding a microphone. Well, Chrollo has a very somber look on his face as he tells them, "Thank you for coming, everyone, but I have some bad news. We have to cancel today's screening," much to the kids' disappointment. But he tells them, "Shirasa, who plays the Orange Cleaner, has been missing since yesterday. She said she was going back to her hamlet, but we don't know where she went." The kids go silent. Chrollo says as he grips his shorts, obviously nervous, "As you know, there has been an increase in kidnappings of children all over Meteor City. We knew it was dangerous, and we let her go home by herself. It was my fault. We're going out to look for Sarasa again, meaning we need to cancel today's screening. I'm sorry." And he bows. But a kid from the audience says, "Red, I'll help look." And a multitude of the children raise their hands saying, "Me too, me three, yeah!" Chrollo says, "But thanks, but it's dangerous." But Uvogin cries out from the audience saying, "Gather by the hamlet, talk to the wet nurses first, ask the factory chief, and the men will help too. Tell him Chrollo's asking for help. Nobody would refuse." Dang. To think this is how Chrollo got so much clout, just be a studious, nice kid. Even Finks rises up onto the bleachers and says, "We'll be the ones to find Orange." And the kids cry out, "Yeah, Red, let's find Orange. We can do it if we work together." Finks says, "Chrollo, go with Uvo. Use my bike." And he just chucks his keys right to Uvogin, who catches them. And Uvo says, "Yeah." And the kids cry out, "Red, Red, Red." Uvo goes for the door and shouts, "Chrollo, don't cry. We'll find her. She must have gotten hurt and got stuck somewhere." But Chrollo, holding back tears, says, "Yeah." We then see Uvo racing down the junk-filled mounds with Chrollo on the back of the bike, racing like a bat out of hell. They make their way further and further out, while the rest of the kids go searching where they can. But Chrollo and Uvo, they happen upon Sarasa's locket next to some tire tracks heading to the forest off in the distance. Chrollo says, "The forest, she might be there." But as the search goes on, the rain begins to pour all across Meteor City. Oh, geez, here it is. Oh no. We see Corolla with a horrified and despondent look on his face. There's a bag hanging from one of the trees, and it's a note pinned to one of the trees. Oh shit, trees. When Togashi was coming back, a tree kind of was what he was working on. Oh, don't tell me this is what he was working on. We'd see the children who would become the Phantom Troop approach the bag, along with Sheila, a knife pinning a note to the tree, a bag hanging. Uvogin says, no, we won't know who it is until we check. Sheila holds a despondent Pakunoda who is obviously on the verge of tears, and Chrollo, not looking at the group, says, I'll go look. Uvogin then approaches Chrollo, standing just under the bag, and he says, hey, that piece of paper, what does it say? But Chrollo repeats himself. Well, Chrollo says, Uvo, can you get that down? Uvogin pulls the note out of the tree, and then presents it to Chrollo, saying, what's this say? Chrollo. But Chrollo continues to look at the bag, saying, get that down. Uvogin is a little bit flabbergasted by Chrollo's reaction. But Uvogin climbs up the tree, and then cuts down the sack, saying, ready? Chrollo says, yeah. Uvogin cuts through the rope, and the bag hits Chrollo's hands hard. Naturally, he falls back from the weight into the wet floor. The kids look on, speechless. Chrollo opens the rope, tying the bag together, as Uvo makes his way down the tree. And as Chrollo opens the bag, oh man. You can tell from the hair that it's Sarasa, her body obviously mangled, stuffed in this sack, and Chrollo's face just... To say that the sadness on his face is heartbreaking is an understatement. And there's a note pinned to Sarasa's forehead. Uvogin sees it and his face just sinks. Nobunaga and the rest of the kids approach as he says, it's Sarasa, isn't it? Finks calls out to Chrollo. Pakunoda calls out to Uvo. But Uvo, he becomes incensed, saying, Chrollo, answer me. What does this say? Chrollo doesn't look at him and says, I won't say it. Uvo grows angry, saying, huh? What was that? And he holds up Chrollo by the shirt, saying, don't mess with me. What did those bastards who killed Sarasa write? Chrollo says with a blank expression, I won't say it. And as his expression becomes angrier, while tears stream out of his face, he says, I'll never speak of it, even if you try to kill me. If you want to know, learn how to read it yourself. Uvogin is obviously shocked by this response and tosses Chrollo to the ground. Franklin goes over and helps him up as Uvo goes stomping into the forest while Pakunoda calls out to him, saying, Uvo, are you going to leave Sarasa behind? He stopped. Machi cradles the bag as Finks calls out to her, Machi. Machi says, come on, we need to take her home. We can't leave her like this. It must have hurt so much. She must have been so scared. I'm sorry. And finally, Pakunoda, who was the most on the verge of tears, breaks down next to Sheila. She cries out. They both do as the rain continues to fall. I guess days pass and we pick up at the church as we see Sarasa in a casket looking as though nothing had ever happened to her. Was this Machi? You know she has an ability like this. The kids gather around her and say, wow, she's so pretty. She looks like she's still alive. Father Lysaurus tells the children, it's called embalming. It's a technique that restores and preserves the body to make her appear as she was when she was alive. But this was a miracle considering the condition she was in. We'll have to thank the embalmer, Renko, as he points towards the door, and we see Renko the embalmer, all dressed in black. She must be the one who teaches Machi. We see the kids gathering around Sarasa, placing flowers in her coffin, and Chrollo places the little heart-shaped pendant she had, and Uvogin comes too, holding out the tape. As the kids look towards him, he kisses the tape, saying, let's have Sarasa hold on to this. We've memorized the whole thing anyway. The kids smile at him. But Machi goes over to Renko, asking, could I learn that too? The embalming thing? Renko says, no, my embalming isn't a technique, but a special ability. Machi says, is it related to the light around your body? Ah, she already has the ability to see it. Renko turns and says in shock, you can see aura? She leans down and looks Machi in the eyes, saying, such pretty eyes. Ugh, precocious kid. Come anytime after you get permission from your wet nurses. Get on the last bus, tell them you want to go to Kirimori Valley, and show them this. They'll take you for free. She hands over a pendant and walks away. Machi wonders to herself, aura. So was Machi the first one to learn Nen in the group? I wonder if we knew that already. And after Shiras is buried, high above on the hill, we see Chrollo and Uvogin walking through the forest. I still can't get over that size difference of the two of them, as Chrollo calls out to Uvogin, saying, "Will you wait 3 years? I promise. I'll get everything ready before I turn 14. Myself and the system here in Meteor City. Uvogin says, I can't wait that long. I'm leaving today if I have to find who did this to Sarasa." Chrollo says, "That would be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. What about traveling the world with me?" Uvogin shouts, "What's going to change in 3 years?" Chrollo tells him, "A lot." Uvogin looks at Chrollo in wonder, and Chrollo explains the world is on the brink of a communication revolution. With the right infrastructure in place, people all over the world can be connected at the speed of light. A single individual can transmit something will be seen by the entire world. It'll be a paradigm shift." Uvo simply says, "So what?" Chrollo says, "The culprit must have kept images, a message to attract attention, a crime scene created with a deliberate framing in mind. That location was like a theater. There were a bunch of cigarette butts where we were standing. Someone was recording images from that spot." Once they realize there's an opportunity to show off their work to the whole world, they won't be able to resist the urge. Evil will hide in the shadows. It'll be the same in the connected future. Even in this network where countless rays of light traverse the world, there will still be national borders where authority will regulate their passage, but they'll find a way. We'll prepare that loophole for them. If we use the void here to build a place where they can evade police pursuit, criminals will come to us. Jeez. So they made Meteor City into what it became, all to find the people who did this. Uvogin questions, "Wait, what do you mean?" But Shalnak approaches saying, "We'll make a hideout for bad guys with the new technology, and we'll pick out who we're looking for from amongst those who show up." Uvogin points to him and says, "Ooh, that I get." Chrollo calls out to Shalnak, and he says, "I'll help too." And all the rest of the kids come out as well. And Shalnak says, 3 years will be over before we know it. There's a lot of things we gotta do to prepare. We need knowledge and a means to close in on the perpetrators, and the power and skills to take them out when we do. But Sheila, she walks away from the group. She has to be the one who showed, of all things, Karapika how to use, about hunters with the group. Chrollo says, "Yeah, and one more thing, something very important." Shalnak questions, "What's that?" Chrollo explains, "If we're going to make it so there will never be a victim like Sarasa in Meteor City again, we'll need resolve, the will to devote our lives to this cause. In 3 years' time, I'll end up killing a lot of people." Gee. Yeah, so that's why Sheila left. She saw the dark direction they were going in because of this. Uvogin calls out to Chrollo. But Chrollo says, "But I know that's not what Sarasa would want. If I could ever see her again somewhere, I would happily apologize over and over. Still, I'll never let them get away with it. Not in this life." And he thinks to himself, if there's nothing in the universe that would enable such a reunion. He then tells them, "I just can't imagine the people who would do such a thing with how the current criminal justice work would generally feel any remorse for their actions and make reparation. I'm going to live the rest of my life as a villain, one that the whole world will fear." And then he looks back towards Sarasa's grave and says, "I'm going to redesign myself in this city to ensure that small-time crooks would stay far away from Meteor City." He then turns to Uvogin saying, "Uvo, will you help me with this as the leader of the troop?" But Uvogin, with a gentle look on his face, motions towards Chrollo, saying, "Chrollo, you're the leader," much to Chrollo's shock. And as he raises his finger in the air, "With you as leader, I will follow you until I die." And with that, the others raise their fingers in solidarity as well. Chrollo simply nods his head, eyes filled with tears. As we cut to that conversation where we first saw the furthest back history of the Phantom Troop when they first formed, as Chrollo said, "Together, we are the Spider." Oh man. It's wild though. The fact that they went on to essentially kind of do something very similar to the Kurta clan. With this goal, with what they decide to do, something's up. There's something about the Kurta that I'm thinking we don't fully know about. I'm not saying that the troop is completely blameless ultimately. What they did, oh my god, what they do over time is terrible. And the people they hurt, the innocent lives they end up taking over time, ooh boy. But what they did for Sarasa, what they did for Uvogin, I mean, they kind of accepted his death ultimately because he kind of sought out Kurapika to a certain degree, and they also all recognized that pursuing Kurapika more was gonna get them killed. But they prioritize finding a cure for Crollo rather than pursuing Kurapika. But I could totally see them doing that later down the line. Oh man, there's something more to the Kurta clan we just don't know about. I wonder if this backstory is going to continue next chapter. And this is a solid as hell origin, but I see something more on the horizon. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Knowing that this is the origin of the troop, what is it about the Kurta that had them target them just for their eyes? Really? I mean, did they really just lose their way, or was there more to it? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. But also remember to like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.